What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the Promethean Tides. I'm General, and hey, here's Breaker. What's going on, Breaker?
I'm the devil. The devil always shaves his head.
Okay, so we were on a bit of a hiatus there, but we are back. So hello, everyone. It's good to be back. A lot of interesting news has happened since we last uh, did an episode, so we'll probably have a lot to cover. Uh, Also, if anyone is interested, I will link it down below in the description. But I had a 3 hour long conversation with Pnoid over on his channel. So if anyone's interested in listening to that, they can. We discussed whether Republicans are being influenced by Russian propaganda or not. And also, we went into libertarianism. I guess I I am more of the libertarian, and Pnoid is not so much. So, yeah, give that a listen if you guys are interested in that. Although it is 3 hours long, so uh, get ready for that. But yeah, the link will be down in the description. Uh, yeah. Otherwise, remember to give us a like and a subscribe if you find yourself enjoying listening to Breaker and I. But yeah, with that, I guess that we can get into some of the news. I should ask, how have you been, Breaker?
Oh, you see, I was undergoing acupuncture therapy in Beijing, China, to recover from a traumatic groin injury. My absence definitely wasn't caused by anything extremely superficial and petty. That would never happen.
Well, yeah, the groin injuries they'll take out the best of us. Uh, but okay, so we have midterms coming up. It'll be this coming up week. I think I should know this off the top of my head. I think they're on the 9th. I will be going out and voting, certainly, and everyone else should as well. Uh, that's how you win elections. Even with a whole bunch of perfectly legitimate fortification, it's still important to get up there and do some voting. Luckily, it it's looking actually fairly good for the Republicans. So we can actually pull up 538 here, and to be fair, 538 has been wrong in the past. I think that Nate Silver, he's been downgraded quite a few times. He started out as Nate Silver, then he became, I believe, Nate Bronze, then Nate Iron, then Nate Iron Ore. And I think that eventually he just became like Nate Coal, or Nate Silt or Loam or other soil terms, but mud effectively. But yeah, so uh, I'm not saying that 538 is the most trustworthy organization here, but I thought that we could just go through some of the numbers because uh, they have compiled some polls, and it does look as though the Republicans are set to win rather bigly. So here we have the governors. There's not every state is going through their gubernatorial elections because those happen every 6 years, but a decent number of states are. I think there's a couple that a lot of people are particularly looking at. One of which is Arizona. So this is between Carrie Lake and Katie Hobbs. I think that Carrie Lake is actually she's a really cool lady. I've seen her talk a few times. She was actually on the Tim Pool podcast maybe a couple months ago. and she has some pretty I guess sensible, reasonable things to say. It seems like her policies would be a good thing for the citizens of Arizona, and I very much hope that she wins. It's a fairly close race, but 538 is putting Carrie Lake ahead, which is excellent. I do hope that she pulls it out. Now they're saying that it's basically 51 percent for Carrie Lake and 49% for the Democrat. Now, historically, these polls have not been they've been uh, they've been more precise than they've been accurate. Let me say that. So, the precision is like not terrible, but they're just always off by like 6 points or so. Now I don't know if they fixed that for this go around of elections, but I would suspect that the actual Republican turnout is going to be higher than whatever the polls are showing. That would be my guess. I don't know that for certain, but that's how it's seemed to play out ever since 2016. Let's see. We have here in Florida. It looks like Ron DeSantis is going to be running. Now, of course, this is this is a guy who took Florida through COVID. He's probably the most popular politician in America that is currently holding office. Of course, Trump is probably more popular, but he's not currently in office. I can't think of another politician really. The Democrats, they don't have any superstars. I mean, maybe AOC, but yeah, I think DeSantis is definitely going to win this. I don't even know who Charlie Crist is, the Democrat who's attempting to run. So yeah, he's probably gonna win that one quite handily. Over in Maryland, it's between Wes Moore and Dan Cox. Now they're saying that it's a 99% chance that Wes Moore wins. Personally, I would love it if Dan Cox could get in there. So for anyone living in Maryland, remember to fucking vote Dan Cox, because we here at the Promethean Tides, we love Cox. We're a huge fan of Cox.
Cox.
But yeah, I mean, it's a long shot that he wins, but Jesus Christ, some of these blue states could do with some good right-leaning leadership. And actually, if you're living in a state, the governorship is far more important to your daily life than the senators and the congressmen, because the senators and the congresspeople, they go out to DC and they decide federal stuff, and they're kind of like representing the state, but they don't actually have that much influence over the internal affairs of the state. The governorships are actually huge. And also, it looks like Vermont and New Hampshire are both going to very solidly be Republican, so good for them. Let's see. Anything else that stands out? Oregon is a surprisingly close race. Nevada is quite close, so those are states to pay attention to. It looks like Oregon is slightly leaning Democrat and Nevada slightly leaning Republican, so we will have to see what happens there. Wisconsin's another one. They're actually completely neck and neck. You're looking at basically a complete tie, 49.3 versus 49.3% of the vote. So that might end up being a toss-up. Although, as I was saying previously, with a lot of these polls, they don't give enough weight to the Republicans. So, I mean, hell, all of these might end up going with Republican governors, which would be neat. So yeah, those are the governors. Breaker, are you looking forward to these midterms?
No.
I knew that you were gonna say that.
Don't look at me. I'm just basically fucking apolitical now. I don't care anymore.
Well, okay. Let me push back on you a little bit, Breaker. Can you you could acknowledge perhaps that the country was in general doing a little bit better under let's say Trump's leadership rather than Biden's leadership. I mean, we could both agree on that, right?
Uh, I suppose in general,
Well,
depending on what you were doing and where you were living. I mean, I guess I still got the stimulus checks and just put them in the stock market because free money.
well, yeah. So I think that even if you hate politics and you hate the idea of a democratic process within our great republic, I mean, these things are going to affect your life. It's one of those things where even if you don't care about politics, politics cares about you. So uh, anyway, I for one, I'm going to be rooting for the Republicans to win. So those are the governors. When it comes to the House, uh, the Republicans are extremely favored. I'm not going to go too much into the details of the individual Congress people. A lot of them are going to end up being freshmen, but uh, yeah. So Republicans are definitely going to control the House, and then the Senate, it's leaning Republican. So the big number that they want to take is 51. Of course, if they get 50 seats and the Democrats get 50 seats, then the Speaker of the House is the tiebreaker. And of course, the Speaker of the House is Nancy Pelosi. So that means that the Democrats would maintain control of the Senate, which is not something that we want. Uh, the I think that we've all seen how reckless the Biden administration has been over the past 2 years. Now, I don't know if I should be blaming Biden or whoever is handling Biden, but whoever it is that is at the helm, they've been doing not such a great job. So it would be really, really great for the Republicans to be able to curtail some of the Biden policies. I think that we can all remember that the Inflation Reduction Act did not appear to actually reduce inflation. In fact, it may have made it worse. Uh, the shutting down of the Keystone XL pipeline and making it so that people can't get new deals for fracking, so that America is no longer energy independent, and we have to get our oil from godforsaken countries across the Atlantic. None of these have been particularly great for the American people. So I guess my message to anyone that is listening is, hey, go vote. This is an incredibly important election, and it will affect uh, the course of the where the American ship is headed. Because right now it's like the Titanic, and we see an iceberg, and some of our leaders are saying, "Yo, that iceberg looks legit. Like we should go as close to it as possible. Maybe even bump it a little bit. A little love bump." And then there are other people that are saying, "Hey, we should like maybe not steer directly into the iceberg." And I just I hope that we get the better leadership in. So I will be watching the the elections very closely. Hopefully, the results will come out that night. Of course, I think that in Pennsylvania, their overall strategy is they will let everyone come in with the in-person voting, and then they'll tally up the in-person voting, and then they'll wait about 6 days or so, and then they'll find the mail-in ballots that are necessary to eke out Democrat wins. I think that's Pennsylvania's strategy. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, it'll be interesting. So.
You know what? I've been interested in Pennsylvania, like, and basically.
Oh, Breaker, you're breaking up.
About me.
So, all right.
Well, of course I am. Just.
Okay, all right. So, there's there's some data from 538, and maybe we'll go back into it a little bit deeper later if it's relevant. But I thought that we might then move on to the next story. So Elon Musk he's officially acquired Twitter. He is now let's see, his description on his own Twitter page is that he's the Twitter complaint hotline operator. So if you have any complaints about the direction of Twitter, what's happening at Twitter, you can direct those complaints directly to Elon Musk. That's I guess that's how he's being employed. That's how he's managing to scrounge up cash at the moment. So good for him being gainfully employed. Now, what I've seen so far is that no one appears to be super happy with Twitter, with Elon Musk's acquisition of Twitter. So of course, the people on the left aren't happy because this was their safe space. This was where they could, get the moderators to ban the naughty people so that they could all just talk amongst each other because they don't want to hear the naughty people. And that makes sense. Of course, who would want to hear the naughty people? And then the naughty people on the right, I guess they're happier with the state of things now than I guess as it was being run with Jack Dorsey and Breaker. Do you remember her name? Starts with an S. Well, okay, all right.
I cannot remember anything because I am a Twitter bot that's being slowly decompiled by Elon Musk. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
Vijaya. What?
You mean Vijay Gade?
Right. So obviously under Musk, it's probably going to be better than under Dorsey and Vijaya, but I guess Elon Musk, there are still people that are banned, like Alex Jones, Carl Benjamin, Milo Yiannopoulos, Laura Loomer, I believe. There's a whole bunch of people who are still banned, and I guess that some people wanted Elon Musk to unban them, like the day that he got in there. I mean, I guess he could have. He owns the fucking company, but I guess he's waiting on that. He also announced that he was talking to various human rights organization boards of diversity nonsense.
He just fired them.
Well, no, he got rid of them, but then he's also talking to other.
You mean the gay DL?
Yeah, whatever. A whole bunch of diversity people, because see all these the people who want to advertise on Twitter, the advertisers, I guess they all, or a whole bunch of them, they bailed for whatever reason. And and Twitter is losing a shit ton of money per day. It's like 4 million a day, or there's some astronomical thing like that. Twitter's in multi-billion dollars worth of debt, and I mean, even with Elon Musk rolling out this $8 a month Twitter premium package thing, it would barely even be a drop in the bucket of Twitter's overall debt. And it's like, it's a whole clusterfuck. And I can kind of see why Elon maybe wanted to backtrack on this whole Twitter deal, because it turns out that Twitter is just not that profitable. And I kind of have this suspicion, and Breaker, maybe you'll share this suspicion. I'm not sure if you will, but this is kind of what my gut tells me. I feel as though maybe Twitter was being propped up by, let's say, elements of the U.S. government, because it's a really, really good way to manipulate and control people and also monitor them. And so even though it was described as a private entity, maybe it was really just a thinly veiled aperture of the American government itself, much like how China has a whole bunch of companies that are really just an arm of the CCP, and maybe Twitter is kind of the same thing, except here in America. That's a weird idea, but I just wanted to put that one out there. And so maybe that's why Twitter is not profitable and it loses money all the time, and yet it has continued to exist for the last 15 years. I don't know. That's a pretty strange thought. What do you think about that one, Breaker?
Oh, you mean like the FBI and NSA basically admitted to in the fucking white papers that came out after Elon Musk bought the company, where the FBI was just like, yeah, knock that guy down.
Yeah, see, I remember hearing something about that. That's right. Yeah, oh god, what a brilliant thing to come out, that it turns out that the FBI is actually controlling your speech through these social network platforms, which, I mean, would seem as though that is not only drastic government overreach, but actually blatant violation of the First Amendment on the part of the government. I mean, it would look like that, but hey, you know what? It's not that important. Who cares? It'll all blow over. But yeah, so that's the.
Yeah. By the way, if you were ever like a kosher right winger, and you know what I mean, on Twitter, that was ever shadow banned, the FBI basically knows everything you've ever written to anyone, up to and including in DMs on Twitter. So you have fun with that.
Thank you, U.S. government. We love you so much. Actually, so I myself, I have never. I don't have a Twitter account. I've never had a Twitter account, and I don't go on Twitter. I have saved myself from this this world, this Nurgle-esque world that seems to exist. But actually, I don't think I've ever asked you, Breaker. Do you have a Twitter account? Do you go on Twitter?
I have 3 different Twitter accounts. One is just for bullshit. The other one is just it's locked and has 0 followers and is following no one and is just a stealth account. And the third one, which is the same name I have here, is the quote-unquote real one that I only recently got back. Oh. Because I had to delete a certain spicy tweet involving a certain recently canonized saint by the name of George Floyd.
Oh, you really shouldn't. You shouldn't criticize that that godly man.
Oh, not only did I criticize him, I said something that I can't even repeat here.
Oh, well, that sounds like a pretty spicy tweet.
Yeah. I'll tell you about it after the show. It was fucking hilarious. And it was also really funny how it happened, because I had 3 followers on that account, and the account's tweets were protected. So the only people who could have done this was the ADL itself or Twitter's Eye of Sauron robot. That's the only people that could have even seen this tweet.
It was probably our the Twitter god, the Twitter demon. I guess it would be a demon.
Yeah, the Twitter's Eye of Sauron that can see everything.
Yeah. It probably was that. Yeah, I think that I've heard this talked about. I think that the best thing that Elon Musk could do is take the people who were banned because they had spicy takes that that weren't the correct opinions, because we all know what the correct opinions are. George Floyd, he was a good boy, didn't do nothing. And Biden is extremely lucid, one of the best presidents we've ever had. These are all correct opinions. And remember to parent responsibly, spay and neuter your children. That's very important stuff. Those correct opinions. Twitter should take all the people with the naughty opinions, free them, let them back on, make their terms of service explicit and very clear, because, again, I don't use Twitter, but I've heard this quite a bit. Their terms of service are vague. They're so vague that they can basically just pick and choose who gets censored, and that's probably not the best thing. So make the terms of service extremely explicit and clear, and also maybe show people what the algorithm is actually doing. Because it maybe it appears to be shadow banning people. Maybe it's just outright banning people for unknown reasons. If there can be transparency with this, with like what's happening on Twitter, then people might be able to trust it more, and it wouldn't feel so much like a deep state manipulative honeypot. Of course, it maybe it can still go on being a manipulative deep state honeypot, but maybe it just doesn't have to feel so much like it. Maybe lower the amount of like dystopian vibes that it gives off just by a touch, and it might actually really improve the platform. I don't know. I'm not on it, but if they do end up improving it, maybe I will get myself a Twitter account. Who knows?
Yay. It wasn't the ADL. What's that other alphabet soup organization that starts with an A that has to do with civil liberties?
You mean the SCLP?
Yeah, that one. Literally, the American Civil Liberties Protection. I responded to one of their tweets about George Floyd, and my account was locked and only had 3 followers. And I know those 3 followers didn't do this. So it was either the American Civil Liberties Protection Union that reported me for my free speech and got me suspended, or it was Twitter's Eye of Sauron.
Well, I mean, it just makes sense that.
Yeah, the American Civil Liberties Union, that, by the way, might I remind you, used to defend the free speech rights of members of the clan with white hoods that I can't say the complete name of on YouTube.
Yeah. Well, that was the olden day times. Now they've become more enlightened, and they've understood that the only way to protect civil liberties and rights is to violate the civil liberties and human rights of the people that they disagree with. That just makes sense.
And now that everyone knows I have a fucking Twitter account, I'm gonna get hella fucking followers, and everyone's gonna be poking and annoying me.
Hey, I'll tell you what. After we're done recording this, you can just send me the link to your Twitter. I could put it in the description. How fun would that be?
I would rather you not do that.
Well, maybe it'll just happen anyway. Okay, so yeah, there's the bit about Musk and Twitter. And anything else that you would like to add to this fun story, Breaker?
I think it would still be a net positive if Twitter just financially collapsed and Elon Musk just shrugged and wrote it off on his taxes, I wouldn't give a shit.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there are Twitter alternatives that are, uh, like what's the what is it, like Gab? Gab's a Twitter alternative.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Gab and Minds and several other ones of various spicy people that. Well, there's the Mastodon instances if you want to deal with that fucking bullshit.
Well, so the weird thing to me is that, as far as I can tell, I mean, I don't know the finances, but Gab and Minds, they they're operating. They're much smaller, but I mean, they must be to some extent profitable, right? Unless they're just completely living off of angel investor um dollars. I mean, they must be generating some sort of profit.
Gab has pay to get a lifetime verification, which the lifetime verification is $500 on Gab.
Whoa.
But you forever have a verified account that you never have to pay for again for life. And Minds does like a crypto thing where the more time you spend on Minds, it's basically constantly mining a crypto coin in the back that's specific to Minds. So that's how they kind of sort of make money.
Oh, that's actually that's kind of smart, right? Like that kind of, like, it almost gamifies your time into always wanting to spend more time on mines to acquire more of this probably bullshit crypto. Like that's kind of smart.
Yeah.
Look,
And you can buy the crypto on Minds to boost your posts.
I mean, that's actually pretty smart. I think that
Yeah.
maybe it's definitely gamification, and I think that if that ever became like a real thing that a lot of people got into, I think that that's actually incredibly manipulative. But hey, if it works, it works. You know, welcome to the modern day economy.
Well, I mean, if I can't even play a fucking Harry Potter video game without paying $10 every 30 minutes, I mean, surely they could make something as addicting and soul and mind destroying as a social media company pay to play, to where not only can people's minds be destroyed, but their wallets as well.
Yeah, the gamification of everything. I love it so much. You know, it was one thing when it was just in the shitty mobile games on your phone, and like, you kind of expect that it's going to be a really shitty game that's constantly trying to extract money out of you. Like, I kind of expect that. But then when they started moving that into like AAA titles that you're already paying $60 for, I mean, Jesus Christ, I find that to be so infuriating.
You know what they should do? They should just say fuck it and make like casino level gambling fully legal on the App Store and shit. Now, not all countries are going to allow this because certain European Union countries are like fuck gambling in every way, shape, or form. But at least in America, you could probably get away with a good deal of this as long as you mark it as like, hey, this has to be like 21 and up. You're gambling with real money, and put the gambling addiction hotline like hot glued to the screen, so it absolves you of all moral and legal culpability, and just make fucking app video poker and slot machines and digital casinos so that all the fucking game companies can make all their money on that, and they could use that to make games that aren't that.
I mean, maybe, right? So I had this incredible idea for a mobile game. And this is my idea, by the way. So if anyone steals it, I'll know. So please don't. But here's my idea, right?
OC, do not steal.
Yeah. This is officially copyrighted, right? No, it's not. But so here's my concept, right? So we have like this like fake token currency in the game, called like dollary dues or cash bucks or something, and it looks like cash, but it's not, cash. And we'll do some sort of like bizarre exchange rate where it's like, for $10 you can get, like $9.78 worth of these cash bucks, something to make the math in your head like really weird, so that you don't realize exactly how much you're spending. And then basically, when you get these little dollary dues or cash bucks or whatever, it plays an animation of every single one of those dollars going down this nice like toilet, and it'll be like a really good animation. And then once it goes down the toilet, they're just gone, and then you've got to refill. But you can just watch, the dollary dues just be flushed down the toilet continuously. I think it's a really interesting and potentially revolutionary idea for a mobile game. Looking for investors, by the way.
I mean, technically, you just described every mobile game ever.
Oh, did I? Oh no. Okay. Well, maybe it's not that original.
They beat you to the punch on that one. Yeah.
Damn it.
But you know what that would be good for is like these certain electronic persons. And that might sound weird, but you'll understand what I really mean as I talk about them. There are certain electronic peoples of the female persuasion that are usually scantily clad, and they could just like financially dominate you and like demand your money for more scantily clad outfits that they could wear. And while they're financially dominating you, they could like bring up that app you were talking about of the toilet with the money flowing down it, and they could just put that right beside of the scantily clad body parts, and they could laugh in your face while they'll do it. You would be surprised how many men would totally go for that.
Well, okay, you're right. That might be like a really good idea, but what if I were to just skip the middleman and I just slap a pair of tits onto the toilet and have it say that you're a pay pig, right? In that case, then it's just all within the app. It's more efficient.
Like, this is unironically a really good idea. It's like electronic person toilet. I don't know if I could say the actual term for these people on YouTube, so people in the know what I mean.
I think we're onto something. This could be a multi-million-dollar company idea. But we
or just call it titty toilet. Call it titty toilet, and make like every time you put more money in the toilet, the titties get bigger.
Oh my god! Because then you would feel like a sense of progression. It would be rewarding as you see the. And for you could put different outfits on the toilet and have it say different phrases to you, like, "Oh, you're a worthless piece of shit." It'd be great. Okay.
Well, yeah, Daddy. Put the $100 bill inside of my mouth.
This is our idea, everyone. Okay, do not steal this. This is our company that we're gonna start. Okay. So, yeah, so
there's also you could make a female version. Just make it like Tinder, but all the Chad Thundercock men are just AI generated, but don't tell them that. So they'll be swiped, but every time they swipe right, they have to pay.
That's I mean, to a certain extent, I feel as though that's what Tinder already is. I think they might have beaten us to that punch. But,
well, considering the amount of actual Chad Thundercock relationships that are lasting that women actually get out of Tinder, you're not wrong.
Yeah, God, the all of these apps, all of these social media platforms, I don't think that they're doing much benefit to anyone. I think that they're actively harming most of them, not all of them. Maybe some are okay, but I think most of them are actively just harming humanity. Not only are they extracting your wallet, but they're making you psychologically ill. They're like putting bad behaviors, like they're instilling they're like almost like a Pavlovian dog. They're instilling bad behaviors into you. Like think about Tinder, right? What does that do? It reinforces the whole concept where it's like the top 10% of men get 90% of the women, which leaves basically all of the women unhappy and also most of the men unhappy, except for the 10% who are extremely happy with this. But it's like, you know what? You know, like we have like long-term partnerships in the human race, in like human civilization, for a reason. Like, you know, we do like pair bonding. You know, we practice monogamy, generally speaking, and like all Tinder does is just fucking rips that out and goes, hey, we should go back to harems. Do you guys remember when before civilization, when it was just one guy fucking 7 women? Do you guys remember that? Yeah. Like, we can bring it back. This is so great. This is really fucking
You know
benefiting
what else?
humanity.
Well, if you remember what humanity was like in those days when that was more the norm, it was mostly just Mad Max style warlords and immortan Joes everywhere.
Fuck yeah. I mean, look, Tinder can bring us back there, and they'll take your money while bringing us back there. It's so good. They do so much benefit to humanity. I love it. I love it so much. Um yeah, yeah. So thank you social media platforms. Thank you platforms like Twitter and Facebook that are actively potentially with government funding and influence, trying to manipulate you and make you a dumber person who just obeys and is part of the overall machine. I mean, thank you platforms like that. Uh, just thank you all of the shitty mobile games that just want to uh, metaphorically rape your wallet. Just so many good things. I even with something like Wikipedia, it's like, okay, it's now the authoritative source on all of the things, except that it in of itself is incredibly biased and not that authoritative. But journalists will just use Wikipedia essentially as a reference. So, yeah, yeah. You know what? The internet, man. It's just been all just
Yeah.
wins after wins.
You mean the Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia that anyone can edit?
Well, I mean, nowadays, I think that you have to like have an account, and you have to have like been there for a number of years, and like have a history of like being a good editor and show proof that you voted for Biden in 2020, and then I think that you're allowed to edit. It's a little bit more difficult nowadays. Um, so
Unless you're a representative from the ADL.
oh yeah, I mean they have like a fast track through there. But you know it's good.
Yeah, because someone has to defend that section of Wikipedia, otherwise known as World War II history, from certain other people. Yeah, you got
Yeah.
to make sure that the very specific number is not changed ever.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to change million to a gorillion. You never want to see that happen. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, Wikipedia is brilliant.
I would be spreading misinformation on the internet, and if we know anything about that, that's basically a crime punishable practically by death.
Well, no, I mean it's good, right? Because you know, you don't want just anyone editing Wikipedia articles. You know, you got to make sure that they're trustworthy and that they have the correct opinions, and not spread any of those hate facts. Uh, it's like in that paper that came out about the FBI it basically telling Facebook what to do. They said that there was 3 types of things that they were trying to stop: misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation. Right. So, uh, the so like disinformation is like you're spreading false information to purposefully, like, do a bad thing. Like if I were to tell you that if I were to say puberty blockers are completely safe and effective, and if the child chooses to get off of the puberty blockers, they can then resume puberty as normal, and there won't be any side effects from that. That would be an example of disinformation, for instance. And then misinformation is spreading incorrect information, but you don't have like a reason behind it. You're just you did it by accident. And then the most interesting thing is malinformation. So that's where the information is true, but they don't like it. Which I mean, can you get closer to 1984 where the FBI is like, look, yeah, that is true, but we feel like you're not using that in the correct way. So that's also something we're gonna fight.
By the way, this has been happening since the Bush administration on Facebook. Remember when Facebook used to delete and censor certain memes about a certain pair of buildings, if you remember those.
Oh yeah, man.
Mm-hmm.
The main buildings never confused me, but I mean that much. It's a little bit confusing, I guess. But I could see like how that could happen. What's going on with Building 7 though? That was the weirdest thing. I still haven't seen a very good explanation for why it is that Building 7 came down. I'll tell you what, listeners out there, if you happen to know a good article or video that goes in depth as to why it is exactly Building 7 came down, because maybe I'm just totally ignorant, maybe I'm stupid, post it down in the comments. I would love to watch that.
You know what else I would be really interested in is who paid off the fucking insurance companies?
Yeah, that's another really good question. I'm sure it was just a coincidence, though. Don't think too much about it, Breaker.
Like these insurance companies, like, yeah, oh, you mean multi-billion-dollar buildings just fell over and now we have to pay for them? Well, I guess we don't need to know any additional information.
Breaker, I swear to God, don't think too much about it, or else
well, that extra information might accidentally be malinformation, so you want to have any of that.
Exactly. This is getting very close to malinformation, and unless you want to get banned and banned, you better drop this.
Oh no, anything but the van. Kind of like that van that had a bunch of MAGA stickers on it that was parked at the Israeli embassy back in 2017, I think it was. That you can see from the satellite photos was sitting in the parking lot of the Israeli consulate.
I mean, it does raise the question, and this is a question. This is not a statement of what the FBI is. It's a question. Is the FBI a domestic terrorist organization? I'm not going to weigh in on a yes or a no. I just want to put that question out there.
The FBI should have ceased to exist when Prohibition was repealed.
I mean, probably. Yeah. I mean, shit, I don't think that Prohibition should have ever existed in the first place. So the entire the purpose of the FBI is illegitimate to begin with. But yeah, what an interesting government that we have set up over the past like 120 years. Something about going from the 1800s to the 1900s. It just really seemed to fuck America up like real bad. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but it was like 1899, and then it became 1900, and then America just immediately started going to shit. That's probably an oversimplification, but that's just kind of how it feels. If anyone wants to have
a good laugh and learn where the World War II naughty people learned a lot of their tricks. You should look up the Fabian Society.
I don't know anything about this.
Yeah, it's like if you ever wondered where World War II naughty people, some with mustaches, some there was actually a painter too. They were led by this famous German painter. But anyway,
Yo,
that particular party.
have you ever
Yeah,
have you ever seen some of his paintings?
it's not horrible actually, but I remember the biography of that particular individual. They say it's like you should have been an architect.
I mean, here's the thing. I was looking at some of his paintings, and like the earlier ones, to be fair, they're kind of shit. Um,
As you would expect.
yeah, but actually, later on, as he started getting better at it, they're pretty good. Like I'm not gonna say that they're not like the best paintings I've ever seen, but I mean, they're not bad. Like they're kind of beautiful, and the other thing is that they actually depicted concrete things like a landscape or like a nice looking house or like a interesting view of like a street in the city. Um, like they weren't just random shapes and squiggles like how we nowadays understand what proper art ought be. So, but I won't say anything more about that. So anyway, that was the Elon Musk story, and some extra little bits. So let's keep going into the spicy.
Yeah,
So
let's do that.
let's declare a pandemic amnesty.
Ah, wonderful. It's like, hey, if we're going to do that, I mean, well, I might be against that because if we do, it means that all the money I earned on the stock market would never have happened. So I would rather we not do that.
See, here's the thing. I think this is really important. Okay, this article, it says let's declare a pandemic amnesty. Let's focus on the future and fix the problems we still need to solve. Okay, look, guys, look. Um, this whole pandemic, it was a big clusterfuck. Okay, I'm sure that everyone is at fault more or less equally, left or right, top or bottom, doesn't matter. We all fucked up, so let's just focus on the future. Let's not focus too much on the past. All right, everyone had their problems. Okay, we need to fix the problems that are ahead of us. Okay, uh, um, after I think that after World War II ended, I think that there were certain people that might have done some particularly bad things during the war, and I think that they actually had a similar message. They were like, "Hey, it was wartime, guys. Come on, guys. We all did bad stuff. Come on, guys. Let's focus on the future. Look, let's build rockets. Come on, let's focus on the future. Come on, guys."
Yeah, yeah. You see, we need to look forward because if you look at my paintings, they are improving. Yeah, we could I could paint your portrait. Yeah.
Guys, that's in the past. Guys, come on, it's in the past. It already happened. Why are we hung up on this? Uh, so
Yeah, just let the man paint. He's an artist, clearly. Just let him do his thing.
uh so I'll read a little bit of this article. So in April 2020, with nothing else to do, my family took an enormous number of hikes. We all wore cloth masks that I had made myself. Okay, all right. Just to begin with, you're hiking out, I assume like up a mountain or something, right? It's just wilderness, nothing but trees and squirrels and the occasional deer around you, and you're wearing a cloth mask with your family, and you're wearing a mask outdoors while hiking. presumably with basically no one around you, and you're wearing a mask. See, this already tells me so much about the type of person that you are, the author of this. It tells me so much about you. You're the same motherfucker that was driving to work in his car alone with the windows rolled up and wearing a mask. You're the same motherfucker. You're the person who goes, hey, the government told me to do a thing, so god damn it, I'm gonna do it. The government says wear a mask, I wear a mask. The government says get an experimental vaccine injected into your arm, and you got that shit because god damn it, the government knows what's right for you. I knew exactly what type of person you are. You're an idiot who's useful. So they say, we all wore cloth masks that I had made myself. Good for you. We had a family hand signal, which the person in the front would use if someone was approaching on the trail, and we needed to put on our masks. All right, well, at least you're not wearing it the whole time. That's fair. Once, when another child got too close to my then 4-year-old son on a bridge, he yelled at her, social distancing. Oh my god, Jesus Christ. How to fuck up your children. He's 4. This is a developmental time for him. This is when he starts to learn about how to socialize with his fellow man. How to, read facial expressions and also make his own facial expressions, how to interact with both adults and children his age. A very formative time. I mean, 4 years old is incredibly important. And what have you taught him? Hide your face. Don't look at other people's faces, and make sure that they don't come near you. This is, I mean, it's so good. It's so good. I was
there you go.
I was at the store a couple days ago. I was at the grocery store, and I see this. And no one in my area, no one's wearing a mask anymore. It's like maybe like 5% of people are still wearing them. And to be honest, they're mostly Asians. I don't know why. Okay, I'm not trying to be. It's a fact. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's, they do that in Japan all the time. Maybe it's just a fashion statement they've carried over. But I was in the store, and I see this woman with her 4-year-old daughter. I would say like 4. I didn't ask her. She looked like she was 4. And both her and the daughter were masked. And I'm looking at that, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, like, number one, like, at this point into the pandemic, I think that we have a pretty good idea that your kid is not at risk, like, basically whatsoever. I'm sure that both the mom and the kid were probably already vaxxed 7 different times with all of the boosters. And they're walking around in the store with the mask on. No one else is, but they're walking around in the store with the mask. Just why? You are teaching your child, like, during a very fundamental point in development, you're teaching your child to hide their face. When your child grows up, they're going to have this weird anxiety about showing their face to people. They're going to end up being uncomfortable with the face that they have, because they won't know how to make the proper facial expressions. They won't have learned how to make the genuine smile. They'll have this fucking fake sociopathic smile, like the one that Hillary Clinton makes, or the one that Kamala Harris makes, and you'll be able to tell it, and they'll have an uncomfortable fucking face that they won't like, and so they'll have this need to just want to wear a mask anyway, all the time, even when there's not a fucking pandemic going. Oh, God. But, I mean, parental sovereignty. Do whatever the fuck you want with your kids, I guess. Article goes on to say, these precautions were totally misguided. In April 2020, no one got the coronavirus from passing someone else hiking. No, they didn't. Outdoor transmission was vanishingly rare. In fact, I don't know if there's really any documented cases. Our cloth masks made out of old bandanas wouldn't have done anything. No, they didn't. And by the way, I remember April of 2020. I remember saying, yeah, I don't think the masks do anything, and I wasn't wearing a mask. I didn't wear a mask at all. The only time that I wore a mask was when I was specifically forced to. Otherwise, I was like, no, this is bullshit. This doesn't make any fucking sense. Now, if I can come to that conclusion, and other people were already coming to those conclusions, other people were as well, why can't you? That's my question. Why can't you then? You're saying, oh, no, everyone got it wrong. No, that's not true, actually. Some people were getting it right. It was just you and some of your friends, your cohort, that was getting it wrong. I mean, I'm just saying, it's not like it was everyone was getting it wrong. But the thing is, article continues, but the thing is, we didn't know. Well, a little bit of common sense and reasoning would have gotten you a long way, but, I guess the government hadn't put out its official orders yet. The science wasn't entirely settled, so I guess you couldn't know. You can't think for yourself. You have to rely on whatever the fuck the science says.
Yay, science! Hail science!
That's right, and we know who the Commissar of Science is. You see, a lot of people don't realize this. Science isn't about being right. It's basically a democratic process. It's like whatever the majority feels like is the best thing. That's what the science is. A lot of people don't realize that. And so so the majority of people, they elected Fauci because Fauci was totally elected. Fauci then became like the representative of the people for the science, and then he was able to declare what the science was. That's how science works. A lot of people are misled about what the scientific method actually is. They think that it's about testing hypotheses and trying to. No, it has nothing to do with that. Okay, it's much like American democracy. It's about how much power you hold. It makes you more right. I have direct experience with this. Anyway, the article goes on. I've been reflecting on this lack of knowledge thanks to a class I'm teaching at Brown University. Oh, credentials. On COVID. We spent several lectures reliving the first year of the pandemic, discussing the many important choices we had to make under conditions of tremendous uncertainty. Some of those choices turned out to be better than others. Yeah, no shit. To take an example close to my own work, there's an emerging, if not universal, consensus that schools in the U.S. were closed for too long. Yeah, I don't know if they should have been closed at all. And in fact, if you look at Florida, they did close down their schools for a bit, but they basically opened them right back up. They got the kids back into the schools, and at this point, they have some of the fucking highest fourth grade reading and writing and math skills out of the entire country because the rest of the country closed down. And Florida had enough sense to go, yeah, this isn't worth destroying, like, the education of an entire fucking generation and also our economy over this nonsense. And by the way, now a whole bunch of people have flocked to Florida because, I mean, shit, they have a booming economy as opposed to New York, which is floundering, and they're probably going to go fucking bankrupt. People in this difficult situation made different choices, and when when these difficult choices were being made, when DeSantis was saying, no, I'm not going to close down the state, it was you. It was the author. It was the rest of the fucking Democratic cohort that were shouting at DeSantis, you're killing people. You're a horrible governor. This is terrible. You're a Nazi for not closing down the state and forcing people to... Whatever. Doesn't make any sense. And then, meanwhile, New York, I mean, shit, they were shoveling COVID patients into old people homes because that was the smart thing to do, I suppose. And your lot, the author and all the fucking people on the left, they went, no, this is great. Nancy Pelosi said before when the pandemic was just coming over here, but it hadn't quite really spread yet, and it wasn't that alarming yet. Nancy Pelosi said, oh, you know what? Don't worry about COVID. Go hang out in Chinatown. You should spend a lot of time in Chinatown. Go to one of their parades. Spend a lot of time outside in Chinatown because it would be racist to not do so. And then when Trump was like, hey, maybe we should close the border to China, all the Democrats went, oh, that's racist. You can't close the border to China. That's incredibly racist. It's not just that you guys were confused. It's that It's that it's at the left. They weren't only just confused, they were actively trying to tell everyone how it is that they should run their lives. And then now, a few years later, we all found out that, oh shit, the left was completely wrong. Oh, they got this wrong. Oh no. Well, here's the thing. Then it's not the thing that's the issue is not that you got it wrong, because if you got it wrong, then you have to live in that bed, and that's fine. You screwed up your own shit. That's totally cool. We don't care. The issue is that you thought that you were so right and you were so passionate and righteous about what you thought that you decided to try to tell everyone else how they should deal with the situation, because you acted as though you knew. You didn't act as though you were confused. You didn't act as though it was a difficult situation, like who knows what the correct answer is. No, you came out and you told everyone what the fucking correct answer was, even though it wasn't the correct answer. You told everyone it was. And now people are pissed. Oh, fucking what a surprise. You can tell maybe I'm a little bit passionate about this one. what do you think?
Science good.
That's a fair claim.
Yeah. I'm trying to do something at work right now, and it just isn't working. So I'm getting to the point where I'm just going to say screw it and not get the frickin' bonus points because I don't care anymore. But anyway, yeah, that's never going to be resolved in our lifetime. By the time any of this gets even close to being resolved, it's just going to be like all the politicians and heads of state would have to long since passed from public knowledge and memory before there's any chance of any of this stuff coming to light in any major fashion. But I have a sneaking suspicion that when it does, it will be probably referred to in historical terms in similar ways that certain number we were talking about before is referred to, but a much bigger number.
Well, I mean, look, it's not nearly on that scale. Okay. Are we potentially seeing?
Oh, it's bigger. It's worse. It's worse.
Do you think? I like being serious. I don't think it is. I mean, I guess that it'll take many, many years to actually know what all the damages were. Like, we've been seeing a potential uptick in, let's say, like, heart attacks amongst the youth. So I have no idea what could possibly be causing that. But I mean, there does seem to be some potential damages, but I don't think it's gonna be gorillions.
Just look up the coroners around the world, seeing this as of yet unprecedented thing with bodies that they attempt to embalm but are unable to, because of white fibrous tissues inside of the veins when they chop open the bodies, and they've never seen this before in all of their years of working in that profession.
Oh well, clearly that's a result of COVID. Thank God our scientists were able to fix the problem before it got worse. That's clearly just COVID.
Well, I wouldn't want to spread any malinformation. It's like we need to refer to that by the proper term and call it long COVID.
Right, the long COVID. That's right. Yes, of course.
Yeah, like anytime something like that comes up, just like glance side to side awkwardly and say, "Oh, long COVID."
Now I would like to point out that because I'm a science denier, I never got vaccinated myself. It didn't make sense to me. The science that I had learned was that, generally speaking, when you take a novel therapeutic mechanism, you should probably put it through like about 10 years of like small human trials before you release it to the general public. And but that science that I previously learned, it turned out to be incorrect. I'm a science denier. It turns out that actually the best idea is to take an experimental therapeutic and just fucking give it to everyone, and even 10-year-old kids and pregnant women. Just give it to everyone. That's actually how science works. So yeah, me being the science denier, I didn't take the vaccine. Still haven't. I did get COVID. I got the Omicron variant, and well, I mean, it sucked. It was like a flu. I felt pretty sick, and then it went away. But we have both sides of the issue here. Breaker, actually, Breaker, you're on your 9th booster at this point?
Yeah, I had all the vaccines, otherwise known as getting all of the diseases. So I'm technically vaccinated against all of them because I've had all of them.
Well, no, actually, Breaker, what you did was you took the Pfizer, and then you took the Johnson & Johnson, and then you took the Moderna, and I think you took a couple others, and then you got the boosters for all of them. So, yeah, you're at like...
And then I got the actual illnesses on top of all that still through the vaccine, so...
Yeah, it's weird how that works. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird.
Like, most of my face doesn't work. I'm actually talking through an AI replicator right now because my actual voice sounds more like this.
Well, actually, long time listeners of the show know that you've always been an AI. You actually never existed in corporeal form.
That's why the computer messes up my voice, because my voice box doesn't always work, and this is my actual voice.
Yeah, that is actually that is Breaker's actual voice. He puts on like an accent for this show.
Yes, 80% of my face is actually paralyzed.
Jesus Christ. Well, anyway, so I just wanted to bring some attention to this article because I think it's interesting that they're I mean, they've been backtracking for a little bit, but I think that they're really starting to backtrack quite a bit right now. They maybe realize that they overstepped just a little bit, and maybe they weren't quite as right about everything as they initially thought they were. I can understand a little bit, when a scary thing happens, some people immediately want to trust the government, trust the experts, listen to what they're saying, and those people, generally speaking, are just kind of stupid, and that's okay, because if I think if history has taught you anything, when a big crisis happens, you actually, generally speaking, you want to run away from whatever the government or the experts are saying. Like, you want to actually stay as far away from that kind of shit as possible, because the government never lets a good crisis go to waste. They will take any crisis and use it to bolster their power and just make life worse for the average citizen, because that's what governments seem to love. So I hope, this is my genuine hope, I hope that a whole bunch of Americans have learned a lesson from this. Maybe a lesson that will stick with them for more than a few months. And I have a suspicion that this might be a reason why it is that the Republicans are probably going to take back the House and the Senate. But let us move on to the next fun little story here. We're low on diesel. Now, Breaker, can you speak at all to have there been an increase in diesel prices?
Yeah, it just costed $432 to get 80 gallons. So, man,
has that been a how much did it used to cost?
About $380.
So it's gone up a bit.
For that amount. Yeah, it's gone up a substantial amount. Let me see. Because I remember when diesel, back during the evil Orange Man, Diesel was like $4 a gallon in the states that I usually drive through, but now it's $5.29.
Wow. Well, it might be going up even more soon. So it's been widely circulated that America has like 25 days left worth of diesel. Um, it's not quite that. I mean, like, because there's still like there's diesel that goes in and there's diesel that comes out. So it's like if we stopped putting diesel in like today, then we would have 25 days left. But I mean, of course, there's still diesel coming in, so we have longer than 25 days. But this is a historically low level amount of diesel. Of course, in addition to that, Biden has just in general been draining the U.S. Petroleum reserves. We are getting really, really, really low on oil, and the thing is that we could fix this problem. We have like this big pipeline that we had been building that like goes from Canada into America. Big old pipeline could supply us with a whole bunch of oil. We could engage in fracking. Fracking technology has actually become a lot safer and less impactful to the environment as the technology has advanced and matured. But we're not going to do that. Instead, we're going to take our oil supplies from countries that ostensibly care less about the environment than we do, and will use the dirtiest methods imaginable to obtain oil so that they can then sell it to us. I don't know who this is helping, but it must be helping someone. Not the American citizen, but it's helping someone. So good for that someone.
Yeah, this is one of the many reasons why I no longer vote. Now, I'll tell you, the one thing that would get me to vote again in any capacity would be if I reached the point of wealth in my life where I could just sneakily put money into the back pocket of my given politician. That then you would see me really start to care about politics really quick.
Oh, perhaps you would.
Because that's how voting really works, because we're an oligopoly. I don't know if you ever noticed that, but basically votes are bought.
Right. I mean, if you were able to acquire enough money, then you might be able to, let's say, like fund certain organizations that end up helping you in the long run, like almost like a like a Soros or something. Like maybe you would aspire to be like yeah, like that might be good for you to do.
More like the CEOs of the oil and energy companies that you were just mentioning, funding the EPA to basically kneecap any and all future competition.
Well, and I mean, if you look at like the profits that Exxon has been generating, I mean, they're pretty big because, I mean,
I know, right? It's crazy how that works.
Well, I mean, it could be that this is a huge money grab that is basically just yet another incestuous relationship between mega multinational corporations and the United States government in order to obtain more power and money at the expense of the citizenry. I mean, it could be that. Or maybe it was just a this brilliant plan from the environmentalists, where it's like, hey, we don't like oil, and even though we have no method whatsoever of keeping our civilization afloat without oil, we'll just go ahead and try to do without. Like, screw it. Let's let the chips fall where
Oh,
they
you
may.
You mean the environmentalists with their plastic crapple iCrap phones that are made of like 80% petroleum products like plastic and rubber and insulating materials? Like, you mean those environmentalists
Yeah,
on their iPhones?
yeah, the ones with their iMac and their iPhone, and they're drinking a Starbucks coffee. Yeah, those
Out of a plastic cup?
yeah, the environmentalists, the ones who got rid of their old used car to get a Tesla because it's totally environmentally friendly to throw away an entire vehicle and get an electric one. That helps, environmentalists. Yeah, the smart ones. The
You mean
ones
the environmentalists that wanted the paper straws with that indestructible wax coating that doesn't help to keep the straw structural integrity when you're actually trying to use it for intended purposes by drinking fucking through it, but when you throw it in a landfill, it's now this immortal piece of garbage that will actually last longer in a landfill than a regular fucking plastic straw.
No. The environmentalists who went out and got a metal straw, which actually takes so much carbon to produce that it's the equivalent of like 1,000 plastic straws. The environmentalists.
Yeah, the only way those aluminum straws would actually reduce the carbon footprint or do anything positive for the environment is if you got that one single straw on the day you were born, and you had such reverence and veneration for this, like as though it was a religious sacred object, that you kept that straw on your person until the day you fucking died. That would be the only way that aluminum straws would have any net positive effect to the environment. But as we know, most of these people are going to forget them in their car and leave them at the restaurant stuck in the cup, and then buy another one any fucking way. So they accomplished absolutely nothing. As a matter of fact, they made it worse.
Yeah, the same people who decided that the greenest source of energy, nuclear power, is just not green enough, and instead we should actually make a much larger carbon footprint. I guess covering the entire state of Wyoming in solar panels. The environmentalists. Yeah. It's just a brilliant group of people. So smart, so educated. They really trust in the science. They're the high septum, the high priests of science.
Well, that's the benefit that comes from being like an extremely wealthy person, because you spend so much time funding all these organizations that are basically competition stopgap measures, that these industries that are older than the discovery of nuclear power, like petroleum industries, can just be like, nuclear is bad for these, and these. Hey, Ted Turner, make a fucking villain in your cartoon Captain Planet of this villain called Duke Nukem that glows in the dark, and he's a bad guy because he wants to destroy you, and nuclear power will pollute for thousands of years.
Hey, breaker. Let's not get on to the topic of glow in the darks, okay? That's a little bit too spicy. But
before Terry A. Davis graced us with his divine knowledge from God, glow in the dark was more of a thing used to refer to people who'd been exposed to too much radiation. Yeah.
I mean, I guess it makes sense. Yeah. There was
There was a movie called Silkwood about a nuclear reactor that melted down or had a leak and caused this woman to develop lymphoma, and she died horribly.
Well, that's a depressing story.
Exactly. That's why you should not support nuclear power, because women will die.
That's
horribly.
That's a good point. If it saves even one life, then we need to sacrifice a lot of lives to save one life. Okay.
Pay no attention to all those ducks covered in crude oil and all those people in third world countries next to factory exhausts, and their children are born with eyes on the side of their head like Quasimodo. Pay no attention to those people.
Look, Breaker, I am willing to sacrifice as many lives as possible to save even one life. Okay, that is the takeaway. Now, yeah. So, I guess overall, thank you, environmentalists, for playing into the game of big oil, your greatest enemy. Well done. Golf claps all around. You played yourself. Great stuff. Um, yeah, so there's a little bit about oil. Hey, you know what? Uh, just a reminder. Fucking vote. For this midterm election. It's very important, and I'm not saying that the Republicans actually are going to do much, but it's they'll do less, in my opinion. They'll do less bad things than the Democrats. I'm not saying that they'll even do good things. I'm just saying they'll do, I think, less bad things, and they might even allow us to maybe extract some of the energy that exists within our own continent, as opposed to having to broker it from the Middle East. And then we could achieve some sort of energy independence, and then that would boost our economy, and then your life would be better. So, just please fucking vote. I'm definitely going to be voting, and I think it's going to be down ballot Republican most likely. It is good to maybe not focus on parties so much and look at the individuals and the candidates and what policies they have. But at this point, I mean, I'm just going to go down ballot Republican, even though I live in a state where it won't matter.
Speaking of voting, I think I'll move to Pennsylvania just to have the honor of voting for Dan Fetterman, because that would be funny.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, we didn't even touch on that. The fucking Oz Fetterman debate. I watched that.
I've always supported fracking. I've always supported fracking.
I support fracking. I support fracking. Hi everyone. Good night.
I believe in fracking because I don't.
Hey, you know what? Actually, here's the thing. I think that if Biden is presidential material, I think that Fetterman has that shit in scores. Okay, I think that he is able to out Biden at the game of making up new words. He's an incredible orator. In all of the ways that Biden is an incredible orator. Just really impressive showing. Really, really good stuff. But
very humorous. You know, when I see Dan Fetterman, what I imagine, if he remembers the first Toy Story movie, where Woody and Buzz get in a fight, and Woody punches one of the buttons on Buzz Lightyear's chest, and he says, "Buzz, Buzz, Buzz, Lightyear to the rescue," over and over. That's Dan Fetterman. Someone make a meme of Dan Fetterman's face inside Buzz Lightyear's suit, and he's just pushing the buttons on his chest randomly all over, and he's saying a whole bunch of random shit.
I want to say, so that no one accuses us of being ableist. Look, Fetterman, there are issues with his recent stroke and him not being able to listen good or speak good, and those are kind of I guess prerequisites for the position that he's trying to get. It's kind of like if you were to hire a moving company, and then the moving company was like, "Hey, we hire only wheelchair-bound amputees to do the moving for you." You'd probably be like, I mean, maybe I'm gonna go with a different company then. It is kind of like a prerequisite to do the job, but larger than that, I think that if you look at just the overall policies that Fetterman is putting forward and has put forward in the past, they're just not good, and so I think that yeah, that's really what it boils down to. But anyway, yeah,
That's the only politician's name I can remember because of just how fucking funny his mere existence is.
I mean, yeah. I think that this is what we actually need. So, Biden He's really good at doing his Bidenisms. Kamala Harris, she
She tackles a lot.
she's no, she's just another spectacular orator. She loves talking about how great Venn diagrams and school buses are, and then laughing about it awkwardly. Just an incredible inspirational speaker. And of course, then there's Fetterman. I feel like we have the holy trinity, right? I want I think that the maybe Fetterman should be appointed like Secretary of State into the Biden administration. Maybe him and a few other people with dementia. Just make the entire executive branch just filled with these brilliant orators who really know how to touch the hearts and minds of the American people. And in Biden's case, maybe even sniff the hearts and minds of the American people. That's what America needs. We want more of this. It's been going so fucking well. But okay, so the world sucks. Whatever, the world sucks. Enough.
And you know the greatest of all of our speakers is, of course, the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, with her touching oration when she did that one excursion to Taiwan and was like, our democracy is kind of like this. Nations are strong like that, and, the things.
Well, inspirational, I say would be, to put it lightly. Yeah, just... AOC even the star of the Democratic Party, just brilliant,
I'm scared.
Brilliant.
I'm being harassed.
I mean, these are people like when you look at some of these, when you look at some of our leaders, some of these brilliant politicians. I mean, they really seem to know what they're talking about. Especially when they continuously and constantly refer to America as a democracy, when, of course, it is not. It is a republic. But, I mean, they really know what they're talking about. They're constitutional scholars, every single one of them, and they know how to...
The highest authority in America isn't even the majority of the people themselves, it's the fucking Constitution.
Well, yes. Yeah, well, I mean, that's not what they want, though. They would like to change that. But, okay, all right, look. The world sucks. We all know the world sucks.
You know what? That would be a good thing, because when everyone hates them and all the people that hate them become the majority, then they're triple fucked.
I think that they are actually presently, omega fucked, and they just don't realize it yet. Because I think that fundamentally, this is not me being sardonic. I think that they're very stupid, and they don't realize just how fucked they are. The entire nation is turning against them. But anyway, the world sucks.
Anyway.
All right. Hopefully it gets better. But here's the thing. Timcast, Tim Pool, they released a song.
Civil War is Civil War on the horizon. This just in from Timcast.
Yes, it is always Civil War on the Timcast, but
Civil War means your Civil War station for everything Civil War. Civil War now, Civil War tomorrow, 24/7 Civil War coverage. I'm Tim Pool.
For all of your Civil War needs, remember to stock up on our Civil War rations.
Where's the bonus buckets? I want to see Tim Pool like bonus buckets with eggs from all those fucking chickens and shit. Get the rooster package. Get Marco the rooster package for only $3,000 a year. You could have enough food to last for 10 years.
But so he released a music video recently. It's called Genocide, in parentheses, Losing My Mind. In my opinion, I like this song. I think it's kind of a banger. It is, it doesn't match modern day music. It sounds very much like early to mid aughts. Like it's reminiscent of like a Green Day song from like American Idiot.
Yeah, because Tim Pool grew up listening to all that skateboarder bro punk rock shit, so that's all his musical influences.
I mean, the thing is that I did too. So, like, I think it's kind of a banger. It's like I know that rock music has effectively died in the past like 10 years.
Music has been dead for 30 fucking years at least.
What? No, no, rock music has not been dead for 30 years. Like it's been like 10. Because like, dude, Green Day was like the American Idiot album by Green Day was not released 30 years ago. It was
Well, that was punk. That's not rock. That's a different thing.
Punk is a subgenre of rock. What the fuck? Um, but all
Well, then they became corporate sellouts.
they did.
So
They did. That's true. But I guess all genres of rock have basically died. Like rock doesn't really seem to exist anymore. But here is a genuine new rock song in the year 2022, current year.
yeah.
I think it was really good, and I just obviously I can't play probably more than 4 seconds of this, but I'm just gonna play a little bit briefly because I was so amazed that they got so many like CNN anchors to actually lip sync this song for them. It was actually incredibly impressive. Yeah, I can't believe that Tim Pool got Cuomo, Don Lemon, Rachel Maddow to lip sync this song. I can't believe it. It's incredible. I don't know what he did to convince them to lip sync this song. Maybe he paid them money. Maybe he blackmailed them. I have no idea. But just absolutely amazing that he got all of these big celebrity anchor appearances in his relatively small indie song. But I'm just gonna play a couple seconds of it here.
I cannot believe you forgot to reshare the screen.
If I could see the darkness in the mind.
I mean, how incredible is that? I mean, the fact that he was able to get all of those huge name celebrity anchors to appear in his music video. I mean, it's crazy to me. But he did it. He actually did it. So just an absolute triumph from the Tim Pool Industries, and kind of a bop as well. That's basically what I have to say about that.
Yay.
So let's see.
By the way, and it might just be on my end, but you're not sharing the screen.
Oh yeah, no, I stopped. It's whatever.
That means no one heard that. Or maybe they did on your end, I don't know. But anyway, who really cares?
They did. You just didn't.
We're all going to die anyway. It doesn't matter. Tim Pool's army of deepfake news anchors can shepherd in the Civil War apocalypse.
Wait. Those were deep fakes? What? I thought that those were the actual guys. I thought he got Rachel Maddow on there to lip sync his song. Are you serious?
Okay, we'll go with that. Yeah, Tim Pool has now hired all of the news anchors from the mainstream media. They all work for Tim Pool now. He's expanded greatly. All news is now Tim Pool news. So if you ever see anything fake on the news, it's Tim Pool's fault. Be sure to blame him first.
Yeah. To be real, I just thought it was so funny of him to deep fake all of those anchors singing his fucking stupid little song. It was so.
I don't know how he managed to get CNN away from Ted Turner. I think he just gave Ted Turner like 1 billion chickens, and Ted Turner gave him a couple of buffaloes and the rights to CNN. I think that's what happened.
That's a good point. I think that Tim Pool does have a small army of profit-generating chickens at this point. Quite valuable.
And Ted Turner is a well-known agrarian, so he would be very interested in trading various services and bartering for farm animals. So
how many chickens do you think Don Lemon is worth? I would say like maybe 6 at best.
Well, you might want to be careful with that because equating certain individuals of certain complexions to their worth in chickens might be problematic.
Okay. Right. I would say the same thing about Andrew
I
Cuomo.
I would say that Don Lemon is at least 40 acres and a mule.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay, so like I would say that obviously Brian Stelter would be worth a little bit more chickens because he's got more fat on him, right? There's more total there's more to him, right? He's more mass.
Yeah, but he's kind of boring and phony too. At least Don Lemon, you could get some entertainment value about him, like raging about racial injustice. So
I would say that Rachel Maddow is worth about 2 chickens. I wouldn't
yeah, I mean,
I wouldn't pay a
yeah.
single chicken more because that woman, not only is she not entertaining, she's also just completely insane. Um, she,
I mean, wait a minute, that's a woman?
I mean, yeah, technically,
Oh no.
technically, she is
Well,
technically.
I have to. I guess I formally have to turn in my straight people card because all this time I never knew.
Well, there you have it.
But
So
it's okay. Now I have the rainbow pass, and that means I can get away with a lot more. So I've actually been upgraded. Remember how I'm supposed to be oppressed and repressed, and people actively want to destroy me and disenfranchise me? It's like, well, I don't actually feel like that. Now that I have this rainbow card in my hand, I feel like I might oppress you by saying that you cannot use certain words to refer to me as anymore. If you do, I'm going to tell Rachel Maddow, and she's going to do a news story about you.
that you know what? That's a good point. You are so on fire. You were born in the fire. You grew up in the fire. You were raised by the fire, and now you know how to use the fire against your enemies.
Well, as the great and powerful Lady Gaga once said, I'm born this way.
That's right. Absolutely stunning and brave, Breaker. As always. As always,
Exactly.
you are stunning and brave.
Thank you. Now I might not report you to the police. But don't count on it. I might change my mind.
So anyway, so all right, so on this evening's show, we've spent a lot of time talking about the folly of the left in America, as we like to harp on, mostly because they don't make any sense, and not only are they stupid, they're dangerous and stupid, which is a really bad combination. You never want both. It's bad to be stupid, it's bad to be dangerous, but you never want to be dangerous and stupid. That's how you wreck a civilization.
Thanks, democracy.
Yeah, the democracy of America. But
Democracy empowering dangerous, stupid people for over 2,000 years, ever since Plato cooked this shit up.
I don't think that Plato invented democracy, but so yeah, we often rag on the Democrats, but I do want to point something out in the opposite direction, okay? Because just because the left is filled with flaws, it doesn't mean that the right can't be filled. Well, it doesn't mean that the right can't have flaws either. So I want to point this out. It's something that I've noticed. Maybe other people have noticed it too, or maybe it's literally just me and it's entirely coincidental. Very well could be just entirely just coincidence. But as of the last few days, I've encountered like random people on Discord that I would say are actual fascists. Not like I disagree with you, ergo you're a fascist. But like actual people who would like a hard right-wing authoritarian government. Um, so I'm a libertarian myself, and something about that it rubs me the wrong way. Now, we are like just a few days away from election periods, and so I ask myself, like, well, why is it that all of a sudden, like in the past 2 years, I haven't really encountered any of these people with these like super authoritarian right wing positions? I mean, occasionally, but not really that often. And now all of a sudden, I'm seeing a shit ton of them. Um, is this perhaps a campaign from, let's say, the left? Is this a false flag? I have no idea. Or is it just that as we move closer to the midterms, people that usually don't pay attention to politics suddenly start paying attention to politics, and then they want to voice their incredibly stupid bullshit opinions? I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I don't think that in general authoritarianism has much, I guess, staying power here in America. Fundamentally, this, to begin with, was a libertarian nation founded on the principles of fuck off, and I think those are pretty good principles. So, and I think especially now, given how fed up with all of the authoritarianism that has been coming out from the left, especially over things like the COVID lockdowns, I think that there's even less of an appetite for this kind of nonsense in the American people's minds. So I don't understand like what the benefit is of going into right-wing authoritarianism is. I mean, do you want, like, what you're doing is you're basically advertising for the Democratic Party. You're saying, hey, look at how awful I could make shit. Maybe vote Democrat instead, because look at how fucking scary I am. This is the same thing when it came to Lindsey Graham proposing that abortion should be banned at the federal level. It's like, hold on. The rest of the people on the right just won a major victory by getting the Supreme Court to kick it back to the states where abortion should have always been, constitutionally speaking. Roe v. Wade made no sense. It doesn't make a fucking drop of sense to justify federal advocacy of abortion under the fucking Fourth Amendment right to privacy. Get the fuck out of here. So why is it that Lindsey Graham would say, oh, well, now let's completely reverse that entire reasoning and just try to ban abortion on the federal level? Makes no goddamn sense. I don't think that most Americans are super interested in authoritarianism, period, be it from the left or the right. You can live your fucking life however you want to live your life. If you want to have your fashy household and do everything in your own household is super duper fashy, fucking go for it. That sounds great. Don't try to push it on to other people. I think that most Americans feel this way. I know that I feel this way. The idea that that you can just mandate shit, just make it law, and then that takes care of the problem. It's never the case. The law is the government. The government is not there to fix things, and the law also is not going to fix things. We banned alcohol here in the United States. Why? Well, because I guess a whole bunch of fucking weird women got a little bit too cunty, and they decided that no one should be able to drink alcohol. And they thought, hey, if I can just be authoritarian and tell everyone not to drink alcohol, then just people would stop doing it. And then, oh shit, you fixed all your problems through the power of government and the law. Well, it actually didn't work out that way. It actually ended up being probably the shittiest amendment that has ever existed. They had to repeal it. And it didn't turn out that well. In fact, if anything, it dramatically increased crime. You would think, oh shit, we got rid of alcohol, crime will go down. No, actually, crime went up substantially. Organized crime was majorly benefited by these bullshit ideas. This is what authoritarianism nets you. Both Hitler and Stalin were authoritarians, and they ground their countries into the ground, destroyed their economies, and generally speaking, made everyone's lives worse. I would love to see an example of authoritarianism going well throughout history, because I don't think that one exists. You can keep saying, oh, well, if I just made this a law, then it'll just fix everything, because then people have to follow it. That's not how it works. And the government is not out to make things better. It never has been. The government is out to secure its own existence and the future of the government race. And that's it. That's all it cares about. It doesn't care about you. It doesn't care about anyone. It cares about money and power. So stop trying to think that the government can be used to actually enact your inane policies. It just won't be like that. So I just wanted to get that out there.
Well, as the old saying goes, when I'm weak, I ask you for power because that is in accordance with my principles. And when I am strong, I withhold power from you because that is in accordance with my principles.
Yeah, and that's why you just gotta say fuck off, because that's really the central pillar of libertarian philosophy. Is very simple. It is fuck off, and I think it's a really powerful message. There's also don't tread on me. Nowadays it's no step on Sneck. Montanis liberi or semperis liberi, which is pronounced that probably completely horribly, but that's the motto of West Virginia. The mountain folk are free. Basically, America was built on libertarian values, and if you're really super duper interested in engaging in like authoritarian top-down control politics, move to Canada or Germany, right? Like, these are excellent countries that they love the government putting a big boot on and just stomping on their faces. They love kissing the boot. Historically speaking, they always have. These are people that will accept the authoritarianism, they'll accept the top-down control, and they will cry out, govern me harder, daddy, and they fucking love it. They do. So go do it there. You can enter into a great relationship with those people. It's going to be fucking awesome. Just, in general, when it comes to doing it in America, especially in the red states, fuck off. Maybe do it in California, to be fair. The people in California seem to like that. Maybe do it in New York. That's fine. Just, not, please, Jesus Christ, not in my state. But with that, is there anything that anything else that you'd like to discuss, Breaker?
You know what? As I'm thinking about this, strangely, a good example of something like this would be the corporation known as Apple. Recently for Apple in the European Union, the EU has finally gotten sick of Apple's weird, idiosyncratic charging cords that don't fit in anything else but fucking Apple devices. And they've gotten to the point where it's like, you know what? Fuck you, Apple. If you want to sell your shit here, you have to make it a seaport. Now, I don't know if they'll actually do this, but I highly suspect what Apple will do is they'll just make everything for the European Union zones with 2 ports. They'll keep a lightning port and they'll add a seaport. But they'll make the seaport to where the only thing it does is charge at a shitty rate. And they'll make their lightning port charge faster and do everything else that a USB port can do.
Of course. Yeah, they'll engineer it in such a way that like it's kind of like rickety and faulty, and it charges at like 10% the rate of the lightning port, because they can do that. And yeah, of course, that's exactly what they'll do.
That's if they do it at all. Now, I was thinking, the guy that told me about this, well, defined they won't be allowed to sell them anymore, because probably what this will be, if anything, is more like a fine. Like, if they send stuff over that has lightning port on it, it's like, you've got to pay a fine for that, Apple, because you sent over these things that don't comply to our standards. And Apple would be like, okay, if we send over a crate of Apple products, how is this fine? Is it per device, or is it just on the crate when it goes through customs? Because if it's on the crate, we could just pay, even if it's up to like €1 million fine, because all the shit in that crate is worth more than that, so we'll just file it as a fucking tax, and break the law flagrantly, and keep paying the fine because we're Apple and we're $1 trillion corporation. Fuck you.
That's like, I don't know if this is a true story, or if it might be apocryphal, but there's a certain Mexican cuisine inspired fast food restaurant, and this is the story I heard. I don't know if this is true or not, but the USDA or the FDA or whatever, they weren't happy with the quality of meat that they were putting in their food items, but it was cheaper for this institution to just pay the fine and give consumers the shittier meat than to actually give the consumers the high quality meat. So I mean, yeah, this is the kind of shit that the companies are liable to do. Yeah, absolutely.
That's kind of like the time that McDonald's, I'm pretty sure it was McDonald's used to do this. You can look this up if you want to, but they own their own meat supplier. But what they did is they made it like an LLC subsidiary of McDonald's Corporation, diddly-diddly-dee, and they literally named the company 100% beef.
Well,
so when they put on the advertisement, this contains 100% beef, they're technically not lying, technically.
I mean, it's 100% beef. Yeah, I mean.
Then there's an asterisk next to it. They don't even have to put an asterisk next to it. They don't even have to put an asterisk. Because when it says 100% beef, they're just referring to the name of a company, and they don't have to put, like, LLC after it or anything.
Oh, God.
Because if you had to put LLC after it, that would kind of give away the magic trick. Well, you know, the consumers after a certain point, they kind of fucking deserve this, because when you're trying to sell like a 3rd-pound burger versus a 1/4-pound burger, and this is literally a problem, people thought that because there was a 4 after the 1, that the 1/4-pound burger was more food for less money. So they preferred the 1/4-pounder. So what they had to do was like, okay, we can't make a 1/2 pounder because number go down. We'll just call it the double 1/4 pounder. And people are like, wow, that's double the fucking 1/4 pound, when it's technically just a fucking 1/2 pounder.
Bro,
But they didn't want to make that number go down.
I'm gonna make a 1/16 pound burger. It's gonna be amazing. People are gonna be like, oh my god, the value.
And it's so fucking cheap, but that number is really big. And it looks like a fucking, like one of those prosciutto slices that's like razor thin. You could kill somebody with it.
You know, that's the thing about humans. Like, individual humans can be incredibly smart, but as a group, humans are just dumb as fuck. Not that much brighter than cattle when you put them into groups. And that is why democracy is the best system. And that is why companies that are run by boards of executives always make the best decisions. Just that's how shit seems to work.
By the way, this was like millions of people too, like all the customers, because Hardee's tried to do the 3rd-pound burger and McDonald's was doing the 1/4 pound. And then they looked at all the statistics of who was getting shopped at more often. It's like, wait a minute. The customer feedback seems to indicate that they think they're getting more for the money with the quarter pound, even though it's technically less because the number is higher. Why don't we put 2 quarter pounds instead? Then we'll crush Hardee's. And then Hardee's had to stop selling the 3rd-pound burger because they couldn't compete with McDonald's. Because idiots thought that 2 quarter pounds was more.
I mean, to be fair, in my opinion, the best fast food burger that exists is it's got to be Checker Burger. I've said that before. I'll say it again. Checker Burger, far superior to McDonald's. But you know who is also really good? Shake Shack. Shake Shack makes a phenomenal burger. There are actually some really good fast food burgers out there. I can say this as an American. I know my shit. You don't need to rely on McDonald's, people. Okay, they're actually they're mid. Okay, they're mid tier. You can get for like a very similar price. You can get a higher quality burger at a lot of different institutions. A lot of people like Wendy's. I don't know if Wendy's is actually that great. Breaker, do you like Wendy's?
Wendy's can be okay, but if I can find them and I just want a burger, probably Big Boy.
Okay, but you...
Because I recently finally had Big Boy burgers, and they're like, oh, that's a fairly decent burger,
but
actually.
Breaker, can I confirm that you do like Wendy's, right?
In my opinion, it's probably one of the better ones. If I had to choose between, if McDonald's, Burger King, and Hardee's and Wendy's were all relatively close to each other, I would probably go to Wendy's.
Oh, so you
because then I can get the chili too.
So you do like Wendy's.
I like Wendy's beef when it's put in the chili.
So what you're saying is that you like Wendy's nut slap your face?
Oh, snap. Well, you know what? Ironically, I do like that. I actually do like that unironically because I am a massive queer, so...
That is correct. For anyone who is new to this channel, Breakers is a flaming homosexual. But
so if Wendy was like a dick girl and she slapped her dick girl nuts in my face every time I went there, I would never go anywhere else.
Oh yeah, like actually Wendy is a femboy, and yeah, that's just the best of all. Okay, so anyway,
my futanari always have balls because if they didn't, you'd be just left with a dick.
That's right. The only true futanari has to have a big old monster set of balls. Everyone knows that. It's not a futanari otherwise. Those are just facts. But okay.
And then after the face-sitting session, I get a free burger.
All right. Yep. You know what? I think that's as good of a place as any to end it. Thank you.
Bye, everybody. Have a wonderful time. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe, because if you don't, Wendy will come to your house and slap your face with those nuts.
Yes. Okay. So, yeah, as Breaker said, if you made it all the way through, thank you for listening. We very much appreciate it here at the Promethean Tides. And if you give us a like and a subscribe, or if you especially like the content that we're putting out, maybe share it to a friend, post it on your newly revitalized Twitter or wherever have you. It helps us out immensely. But with that, thanks everyone for listening, and peace out.
Later, Gators.